I was there the next weekend when I could take my kids. So let's not get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? Marvel characters aren't sold in comic book stores around the world, and yet they killing it at the box office. Why, if anime manga is that big, why is that not killing it in the box office? Because it's not diverse. Because people are getting it twisted and trying to make this crazy ass argument that, oh well, no man, you see like anime manga, man, it's the future. No, it's not. What it is an art form that looks totally different than what people are used to. And so when you're a young person and you see that cool ass looking body armor or that really sick character design, that really well designed panel, you know, I do this tour where I go to Comic Cons to do a panel about diversity of manga, and I talk about here's what separates Marvel comic books and Japanese manga. In a Marvel comic book, Wolverine walks into a room, a bunch of ninja there. It could be Deadpool, whatever you want, and they look and they're like, oh, you know, you're in my way, and they're like, yeah, you got to come get us. And they be a panel. They all got their swords out, the ninjas and stuff. And so what's gonna happen? You're gonna get a kick-ass panel of Wolverine popping them claws, Nick. And then the next page is gonna jump into the thick of them ninjas, and then the next panel is gonna be them kind of like you might see Wolverine might have people around his neck and stuff. One hand's out stabbing somebody, he's getting stabbed in his leg, by somebody's sword. But then there'll be another panel he might take a punch, another panel where he throws a punch or slices somebody. By the next page or two, that fight is done. Yeah. Wolverine's looking badass, or Wolverine's like down, he's been stabbed several times. They're like, will he survive? By the next issue. If that fight were manga, that fight would last 17 chapters. God damn. It would go on for 2 months. Wow. It would have. You've seen Naruto's fights? Have you seen Goku's fights? I mean, them things went on for weeks and months of chapter after chapter. And then it'll be like, oh no, Goku, you got me fixed. Oh, but wait, time out. I'm gonna go Super Saiyan 19. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know I could do it either, but I'm gonna do it right now.
That's what threw me off about the cartoons. Once the only manga I ever really read was Hellsing. I don't know if you ever seen that Hellsing thing, but I'm like, that's my joint. The OVA, is that the right term? The original joint, and then they did another one or whatever. Same thing with Full Metal. But once I read the manga and then I looked at the cartoon, I said, what's all this filler? You know what I mean? Kind of a thing. So, but so you're not saying that manga is like the soccer of the you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like the soccer of the, you're not saying that?
No, I don't. I think if you look at popular media, I mean, again, why is Iron Man wasn't the soccer of Marvel comic books. I mean, he wasn't even the soccer of Marvel comic books, and yet right now Iron Man is like probably the most globally
I was surprised they came out with Iron Man because Blade was the one that actually started making them money. You know what I mean? And then they're gonna wait 30 years to pop with another black character, and then boom. Made money.
And then does $1 billion and does it in every country. It makes fat money, millions of dollars in almost every country. And so Argentina, France. And so again, I don't want to get too far away from this. The point I'm trying to make, because it's so crucial that we all understand. I don't care who's listening to this, they're white, black, Indian, Latino, whatever. It's so crucial we understand this. Manga and anime is an art style. That is it. It's an art style. It's a very compelling art style. It looks unlike anything else out there. The Japanese, because they do it so well, make it look so amazing and unique. Just like you can have hip hop anywhere around the world. You got Psy in Korea. You can't compare Psy to Lil Weezy. You can't compare Psy to Drake. You know what I'm saying? Because when they do it, they just do it with a flavor that just cannot be touched. So the point is that we have to respect what anime manga is. But the idea that it is this gigantic thing that's just all-encompassing, look, if that is the case, then we are in trouble unless Saturday AM and other groups do what we do. Because you cannot have an art form that has the potential reach that anime manga does and does not speak to the beautiful diversity of the world, does not speak to people who are making those creators millions of dollars. That is a problem. And it is astonishing to me that very few people talk about it. We were the first ones to talk about it in 2013 and be public about it and be direct in terms of how we were going to fix it. And now there's been a couple of groups that come after us, but that's the point. That's the idea.
So, I mean, do you think that Saturday AM is going to benefit from the same fan support or the same effect that Black Panther benefited from? In other words, that different look, but that same quality kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think that yes. I mean, so the
Because
short
to be
answer is
frank with you,
yes.
man, you're not dealing in minority populations once you go global. Once you get out of the United States, it's black and brown in terms of
Uh,
audience. And I say
I don't
brown,
know.
that might be,
Yeah,
Middle
Latino or
East, that might
Indian.
be
Yeah,
South Asia,
right,
South
right.
America, whatever.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, look, again, if you look at Black Panther, if you go to a website like Box Office Mojo, you type
Yeah.
in Black Panther, you look at the foreign sales, you go country by country.
Mm-hmm.
Black Panther did well in countries that, let's face facts, you're talking about soccer. These are countries that throw bananas on the field towards people who look like you and I.
Okay.
So, so it did well in those countries. Again, that just speaks again to my point about this argument that manga just vastly destroys comic book superheroes. I just find that to be laughable. But at the same time, though, I think what it does tell us, the success of Black Panther, is that there are a lot of people out there who know that there are unique stories that they've not seen. There are stories that they're missing out on because they are not exposed to more diversity. And there's a hunger for it. They have a hunger to see more things. Because I've said this before, and I say it to be flippant. I'm being a bit of a character when I say it, but I don't know how many spiky hair, white looking Japanese characters we can look at to be
Right.
like, oh man, can't wait to see his new anime. What's it called? I don't know, but this character looks badass. He looks like every other manga character.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times we have to see that and be like, oh man, this is gonna be different. No, it's not gonna be different.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna be different. But I tell you what'll be different. What'll be different is, again, if you've got a Black female lead character. What'll be different if you got an Indian male character. What'll be different if you got a Korean character who's maybe living in Japan, or a Korean character who's living in Korea, a Korean character who's in North Korea, who escapes to South Korea, a character like Malala, who's a young Afghan woman who's trying to make her way through and so forth, and then has to deal with some of the bigotry, some of the patriarchal bigotry that people in that side of the world deal with. Those are interesting stories,
Mm-hmm.
and if you were to put that to anime manga, that'd be kind of an interesting anime manga. So I just think that we've got to stop being our own kind of blockage as to what we have to do.
Yeah.
We have to accept the fact, this is an interesting story, and it's interesting also because it has a minority focus. And I have faith that if I treat it right and I try to excite the readership with cool ideas and cool battle scenes and awesome looking images and so forth, but that they will embrace it regardless of whether or not the character is fat, Asian, brown skin, disabled, tall, skinny, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That they will embrace it because it's just a cool story. And I think that's what we got to get to.
Now, I became a member of your site after seeing your interview on YouTube on a channel called like How to Bam with a young, I think you said a Portuguese brother?
Yeah, Mustiaki.
Now, so I got the magazine, and so I read Soul Beat. Let's see, Soul Beat. Where are my notes here? I read Soul Beat. I read Hammer, which is very entertaining. I read Boy, which is Better Off Ignorant. When the girl pulled out a gun and then she fired at the other kid's foot, I was like, oh man, this is real. And then it was a golf ball.
That's right.
And then she fired again, and it was a coffee mug. I was like, you know what, man, this is some creative shit right here.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Like
that's one of my favorite series.
Yeah. And what I did was I said, well, let me see, because part of the ads was Apple Black. So I got Apple Black from on the Kindle store, and then I got the Apple Black book, just before we interviewed. And this thing got about 900 pages, man. Y'all printing dictionaries and what? Why are these graphic novels so thick? That's a lot of content for $10.
Well, I mean, we try. We want to. I think it's important for us to have people like what you just described. Everything you just described is awesome, and we want to try to make sure if we're lucky enough to have that sort of appeal to somebody who discovers us through a YouTube or through one of the things that we do, then gets the magazine, which is a cheap subscription. I mean, let's talk about the magazine. You get 20 issues of all these unique series that serialize inside the magazine at different times. You get 20 issues of that for $5. That's a low subscription
$5 a year, and then you got the premium for what, 25?
for 25, which includes Saturday PM. And then if you come to conventions that we're at, you also get some stuff because of that.
Okay.
You get a couple of free items there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you get all this cool stuff, and for a really low